guys, MrBitter here with Yoan Merlo, French Protoss player who's living with us here in the Razer Academy. And today we're going to be looking at a replay of a Zerg player and a Terran player, and a cool Zerg style that is coming back into prominence these days, due in part to the fact that Terran players are becoming so greedy. It's two-base muta, so oftentimes you'll see Terrans go for a fast 3 command center. Usually they'll try to add some crazy tech. Sometimes they'll go Cloak Banshees. Sometimes they'll just sit back and completely turtle up behind their wall and try to take advantage of this big macro lead that they're getting. So Zergs have learned that if they just sit back as well, Terran gets great upgrades, they get to this huge army, and life becomes really, really difficult. So we have to decide, how can I punish Terran for getting this fast 3 command center?
So what we're going to see this game is a viable option to what can be done as to slow down the Terran while macroing.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to dispel a couple rumors too. A lot of times people say, hey, if I go mutas, I have to do a lot of damage. That's not necessarily true. The Mutalisk gives you so much more than just the ability to inflict direct damage on your opponent. It also grants you a lot of map control. So if you make mutas, and if you don't do direct damage, and by direct damage I mean killing buildings, killing workers, killing units, if you don't do direct damage, you can deal indirect damage by making that Terran player feel like he can't leave his base. You can delay that 3rd command center actually landing. You can stall him from moving out. And anytime he does try to move out, you can threaten to counterattack with those mutas.
Or Zergling run by.
Yeah, Zergling run by, mutas running in. And while you're doing all of this, while you're stalling the Terran player, you're mass expanding, you're droning up, you're creating an economical lead for yourself that cannot be really matched by a Terran player who can't get out of his base. So we're going to go ahead and jump into game here. This is a game that was played on the Korean server between 2 Grandmaster level players. The blue Zerg is Marshmallow, and the Terran is playing on a barcode account. We're going to see pretty standard looking play from the Terran, and I think we can just go ahead and speed this up, maybe even to like ×4, as both these guys are going to sit back and do a whole lot of nothing in the early parts of the game.
I noticed the Zerg is scouting a lot for proxies. That's very common, right? At high level, Zergs don't want to face the infamous 11-11 barracks.
There's so many places that you can hide barracks on Ohana and on really any 2-player map. And this player is being very thorough and making sure that he's not dealing with that. But we can see, in fact, the Terran player is going to go 1 racks, fast expand, into gas. So very, very common opening here from the Terran side.
Is that standard?
Yeah, it's pretty standard. Usually if you're going to see them tech up really hard, they'll add that 2nd gas just a little bit later. Typically when you see an opening like this, it tells us we're going to see some Hellions. But of course, Terran still has a lot of options. This is a fake bunker right now, and how the Zerg player reacts to it is important. You never want to allow a bunker to go up in your natural, but because we saw good scouting, because we kind of know that this timing seems a little bit off because there's only 1 SCV, we can pretty much assume that this isn't a crazy all-in. So not an overreaction out of the Zerg player. Doesn't pull 10 drones to deal with this.
Just 2 and lower the HP of the SCV, and now the links are going to be able to finish it.
Exactly. Now in the meantime, actually, we can go ahead and even speed it up. We can see the Zerg player just doing everything so incredibly normal. He's going to double gas here around the 5-minute mark. And actually, Terran not going Hellions like I thought that he would. This is just a couple of racks, factory going down. This is probably to facilitate medevacs later on. And here we can see our Zerg starting to really mine gas. And we're going to take we're going to take special care to note when that layer actually starts. No Zerg upgrades have gone down on that side of the map yet at all. There's the 3rd command center for Terran, and layer before Zergling speed.
6 minutes.
Very, very, very quick layer. This is specifically to punish the Terran. Now, let's check out the Zerg player's vision real quick. He's got an Overlord in a fantastic spot. He knows with certainty that there's 1 command center down. He hasn't confirmed yet that 3rd command center is building.
Yeah, he should soon.
But based on what he's seen, he can assume there's nothing out on the map. He hasn't seen any Hellions. He hasn't had to deal with anything at all. These queens spreading creep completely uncontested. That tells him that Terran's sitting back and doing something. So the Zerg player now feels like he has this freedom to tech up. Hellions are going to come out initially. It's just to get that first scout. Zerg's still on 2 bases. Layers finishing up. So these mutas are not that far away.
Yeah, Layer's about to finish. And he doesn't have that much gas just yet, but he's taken both of his gases and started mining from them just now, you can see. So I think he's going to have a lot of gas income very, very soon, and with the extra minerals he has, he should be trying to take a third shortly after this, right?
Yep, he's going to be expanding off of his Mutalisks. His Mutalisks are going to give him the map control he needs to secure this next expansion. Now, you're talking about gas. It's really important. The Zerg player basically rushed to lair. You can't immediately take 4 gases when you do that because you just don't have that many drones. So he took 2 gases around 4 or 5 minutes, and then he added his second 2 gases after he started his lair. This is a macro hatchery going down here in the main base. You might ask yourself, why is he putting it in his main? Well, he still doesn't know exactly what Terran's doing, so he has to play safe. Maybe he throws on that third base and Terran makes a timing and kills it. That would really suck. So instead he's just going to put it in the main to be extra safe. Hellions are just going to try and delay creep, but as we know, the Queen's very, very adequate at keeping Hellions kind of backed up.
And he was on 50 drones very quickly with some pretty good gas income. So I think that's why it's always important to get this macro hatch. And this time it was in the main, but I think even if he would have taken a third over here, he would still have needed this macro hatch shortly after, because he's going to have a lot of extra minerals, and he should always be making either drones or, in this case, I think Zerglings is probably better.
That's absolutely right. Spire does finally finish. We immediately see 9 mutas down. Our Zerg player was being diligent with his scouting. He confirmed that extra command center, and now he knows exactly what the state of the game is. Okay, I've got a Terran opponent that is mass expanding. I need to try and punish this. Now, we can see that our Terran player is playing a biocentric style. If we look at the production tab, medevacs, siege tanks, marines, marine upgrades. You might ask yourself, how does this play against mech? And the answer is, well, Thor has really shut down mutaplay in general, certainly in small numbers. But you can still use styles like this to get map control and to force a Terran player to invest in anti-air, in the case of a meching player, in Thors. You basically force him down a specific tech path. Here's those first mutas. Because Terran was so greedy, he doesn't really have any anti-air. Look at these Marines. They don't even have combat shields right now, so they're not really able to trade that effectively. And these mutas doing some nice initial harass and just some good economic damage.
Yeah, I think it's very usual in the current metagame for the Terran not to scout too much. You know, they just assume there's going to be a quick third, and then even if the Zerg stays on 2 bases, he's probably going to be infestors or maybe some roaches or whatever. But this game, he actually didn't scout much. I don't think I saw a single scan out of him just yet. I'm going to try to confirm that. Yeah, he never scanned the main or the expansion, so he didn't try to see which tech path the Zerg was going into. He just tried to prepare himself for everything. But he tried to take his third at 10 minutes, and there was already 9 mutas, so very nice build here by the Zerg so far.
Yeah, really excellent at just punishing a Terran who is being greedy, and that's exactly what this Korean Terran player is doing here. Now, notice, this is very important, these mutas are not going to do tons and tons and tons of damage. All they're doing is forcing Terran to turtle. He's investing in turrets, he's investing in static defenses. You see bunkers going down. You see his units spread out all over the place so he can defend every expansion. This takes all the initiative away from Terran and gives it to the Zerg player. Third base is down, it's saturated. If we check the income tab now, we can see that our Zerg player has gone up to 70 drones. He's going to have no trouble at all taking a 4th base soon. There it is, hatch goes right down. And while this is happening, our Zerg's just continuing to macro very, very well. Yes, sometimes you can go 2-base muta, punish a player for being completely underprepared and win games. But you don't have to. And what we're seeing here is you don't even have to deal that much damage directly. You just keep Terran back in his base, and you continue to macro up and build on the advantage you gain via all this map control.
Yeah, I can tell the Terran really feels like he cannot leave his base right now. Those mutas will just counterattack and kill a lot of things. And he's making turrets a little bit everywhere, even here, because he knows those mutas can just come over his barracks and kill some of those Marines as they come out.
This is really good play by Terran as well, adding static defenses around his production. If mutas fly in your base and kill all your add-ons, now your production's been really hampered, and you're not even, your money's just going to go up. You're not going to have units, and you're going to get overrun. So the Terran player is doing good things, but he's so spread out and he's so under-equipped to deal with a Zerg player who's just growing so fast. Now we've got a 4-base Zerg, more drones hatching. I imagine we're probably around 80 drones now. Let's take another look at the income tab. 79 drones here for our Zerg player, so really nice position to be in. And Zerg can really do just about whatever he wants. He's been spreading creep this whole time. That's also very important. Something Zergs often forget when playing mutas is to spread creep, but we can see that didn't happen here. A little bit of a drop in the back. And another real strength of muta-based styles is very, very high mobility. Easily able to send some fast Zerglings, some fast mutas back to deal with this, and that drop does no damage.
And the Terran did a very good job of just buying time with his drop, and in the meantime he killed a couple of those creep tumors. Try to slow down the creep, very important to do if you want to be able to move out without being flanked from every side with very quick units from the Zerg. And the Zerg did a very good job of realizing that the Terran's units were a little bit of position here, and he catches some of them, and look at those, they're still standing there.
And these engagements are all made possible by that phenomenal creep spread. The creep tumors granting vision, and here's just a great fight here. Zerg catching Terran out of position once again. This is the strength of the mobility, the strength of the explosiveness of this style of play. And Zerg didn't do anything exceptional here. All he did was pick a build that capitalized on Terran's greed, and then he used the advantages that that build gained him to create an unlosable position for himself.
Yeah, but he still macroed very well in the meantime. You see his cash never going up too much. He's upgraded as soon as he could. He's making his hive, and I'm pretty sure we might see an Ultralisk Cavern pretty soon, or a Greater Spire. So he's macroing really well behind this. You see his force is saturated. Should soon be thinking about starting to add a fifth, but right now he's too busy adding pressure because he seized an opportunity. He killed a lot of units and he just counter-attack, and he keeps putting the pressure on, trading pretty well so far.
Yeah, I mean, we can see pretty clearly just how advantaged the Zerg player is here. Terran falling back, trying to defend, is doing an okay job of not dying.
Barely.
barely, but I mean, we can see pretty clearly that it's a very difficult position. And look at the creep spread. Look what this does. He's denied the fourth base just by having creep there. That's something that every Zerg player should strive to do. You can pretty much on every map in the current map pool, it's possible if you push your creep diligently to have it at his fourth base before he takes that fourth base.
Couple spans being added in the main to defend against those potential drops. Very common in TVZ to try to drop, to try to come back in the game. If the Zerg units are out of position, it can be very, very good. You can kill a lot very quickly, especially with Marines already having the +2 attack upgrade. But yeah, the Terran with a very small force right now.
Yeah.
He's at 140 supply against 176. He's gonna try to secure his force and kinda camp doing it. His army supply 91 to 95 actually, not that much of a difference.
Yeah,
but
he's done a good job of maintaining his military strength. But if we just look at the tech right now, we've got a Zerg player, Zergling, Baneling, Infestor, Muta. Ultralisk's on the way. Greater Spire is complete. This Zerg has gone full circle. He's gotten everything that he wants. Gonna make one more big attack up into this fourth expand. Says, hey, you just secured your fourth base. Well, let's get rid of that. And Terran really can't do much about it. And he's going to try and reposition his army and hope to catch this Zerg as he's retreating, but this is too much Zerg. Yeah, exactly.
Before he could siege some pretty nice fungals. And the Zerg sees that he already killed a lot of units in a nice position, and now the Terran was going to be ready to take the rest of the fight pretty well, so he just pulled out of it. And a really nice decision here. A lot of people
would completely commit their army to that
exactly.
fight, and sometimes that's how you give games back when you're in a great position. When you take bad fights, that's how won games become lost games. But this Zerg player not making that mistake, sending in one more big attack as his Ultralisks have hatched, and we can just see the absolute strength of this kind of an army. The Mutas from before still alive, shutting down medevacs, great fungals being cast. And
yeah, really nice player by the Zerg.
There it is. Holy heck, great game, says the Korean player. Marshmallow says GG as well. And guys, that's what 2-base Muta looks like. Just to kind of recap it, we want to get fast Mutas out to punish greed. So we're going to take those gases early, around 5 minutes. We're going to tech up to layer fast, around 6 minutes, skipping Zergling speed to get that layer down as quick as possible. And of course, we're going straight to Spire. Start your 3rd and 4th gases as soon as you start that layer. Drone, drone, drone. Make sure you're safe from any kind of harass. Usually Queens alone can facilitate that. and then when those mutas come out, take map control and punish the Terran for not being able to contest your position on the map.
And I don't play Zerg or Terran either, but the thing that I really remember from this game is that you don't really commit, even though you get mutas and you get a late third. You saturate your 2 bases very well. You had about 50 drones before you started making units, and then later on took a third. So you saturate your 2 bases really well, you get mutas, you take the map control, and even if the Terran doesn't play a very greedy style, you're still in it, you know. You can use your mutas to do the exact same, buy yourself some time, and take a third and go into a real macro game. You're not really committing.
Yeah, that's really the whole point. You don't have to commit those mutas. They're not there to win the game for you. They're there to secure an advantage in the game, an advantage that you can later win from. This was a perfect example of mutas not just outright killing somebody, but instead just making Terran feel very constricted, making Terran feel like, oh gosh, if I expand now, he's going to kill a bunch of workers. Oh gosh, if I leave my base right now, he's going to counterattack. Oh gosh, if I do anything, Zerg has an answer. What can I do? I'm just going to sit back and sit back and sit back. And guys, you cannot just sit back and let a Zerg macro freely. So 2-base muta against the right openings can be very effective at creating those advantages for yourself. One final little point of thought before we go. 2-base muta, not so good against like a 2-base all-in Terran or even 1-base aggression, because you are giving up so much to secure that stronger mid-game.
But
so,
what will you do then? If you go 2-base mutas and you see he's taking he's not taking a third, he's doing some kind of...
I would probably die to the push that's coming, which is why it's so important that you scout well. And we did see good scouting from our Zerg player this game. He confirmed that the first expansion was down, and then as that Spire was going down, he floated in, confirmed that that second expansion was down, and from there he just played it out beautifully. And just to kind of answer your question more directly, mutas, especially those initial mutas, those first 9 mutas, they're not going to be very good in a fight against 16 Stim Marines. They're going to die pretty fast.
But I guess you'll make a lot of Zerglings and maybe a Baneling nest.
Oh, yeah, of course. Banelings are very important again for dealing with those Marines. Zerglings and mutas in conjunction can actually fight pretty well against Marines as long as there's not a huge upgrade difference. But moral of the story here is, against these fast, greedy 3 command center Terrans, 2-base muta is a style that everybody should consider, practice it some, and let us know how it goes. This has been actually our first instructional video from the Razer Academy. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave your feedback somewhere. Everyone always says, leave your comments below, subscribe, and like on YouTube. I don't know if we're going to...
Yeah, it should be on Razer's YouTube.
Yeah.
So check out the Razer Academy, guys.
Hope you guys enjoyed it. Lots more cool content coming. Next video should be ROOT.Tod talking about some ProToss.
Yes. Looking forward to that.
Me too. Stick around. Or bye. We're done.